So, today we are taking a break from the Audi and we are designing a, McPherson suspension for a friend. Because he is building a model that deserves to be finished and needs a helping hand. I'm just finishing here the template, basically his the front of his car that he sent me, just to have a base to work on. Hello, welcome to the stream. Okay, yeah, that's fair. Obviously, I mean, I don't have any free non LP power wheel hubs, so I'm gonna use these. They are obviously, modified. This one especially, I modified it extensively because I wanted to fit brakes. Semi successful. We'll see, but as a stand-ins, they will do. Okay. Well, Christian, then I am free to improvise, basically. So, what we're doing here is it's an E46. E46 Evo, I think, with extended wheel arches, whatever. We don't care about that. What we need to do is the wheel here needs to fit into the arch. These are just regular. The wheels need to fit into the arch. They need to be in the center of the arch, of course. And of course, we need to make the front suspension bridge and the McPherson struts. We don't have that much room for this, but it's gonna be okay, I think. Yeah, it's gonna be fine. Obviously, I'm gonna use the softest springs I have. Doesn't really matter. So let's design a hub. I mean, so far we do have a lot of experience doing this. To be honest, I'm going to design the hubs on the LP power wheel hubs. If Christian doesn't have them, I'm gonna fucking send them for pieces, because I have enough of the limitations of the regular Lego wheel hubs, and this guy here is gonna be done with LP power wheel hubs. Deal with it. Okay, so yeah, E46 wheel hubs are basically, or struts are basically very similar to E30 and E36 ones. So there's nothing really special about them. The E46 still has a single wishbone on the bottom, unlike the E92, E90X variant. There's no multilink. Very simple suspension. Let's get some parts on the desk. I mean, I am probably gonna orient myself on what we did with the Sierra. Not quite, but ish. Since we have the LP power wheel hubs on our disposal in this build, we're gonna make use of them. Come on. I need this. Exactly, it's not a driven axle, so that's a bonus. So, since we are using Land Rover wheels, of course, I think we are gonna use the same system as in the Sierra with this here. No, this is a special build for Christian. So we are building him and a McPherson suspension. So yeah, we are gonna use this. Exactly. So let's see what clearance do we have. We want the strut to be. I need to adjust this. We want the strut to be as close to the wheel as possible. So if we, and of course it's gonna be mounted like this. I mean, the temptation is here to almost mount it vertically, but that's not gonna go. So yeah, you know. So we're gonna angle it slightly. Yeah, we are not gonna use the exact struts that we have in the Sierra. Keep in mind, we have the LP power wheel hub here, and if we can, we are gonna make some use of it. And here I see that we could, you see, we could lower this. That's the first thing that we are gonna do. I think we can, or can we? Is there room? I think there should be room. Let's see. If we can lower this. What I want to see is, can we get away with this? I think for the GTR, which is gonna be low anyway, this could work. Is it too low? I don't know. Maybe. By the way, Christian, what's the final ride height that the car needs to have? How many studs from the ground? No, those are just stand-ins. Don't mind me. I just have these around. I needed hubs, and I could butcher one of the models, but why I have those. They are for development of the struts. They are fine. Yeah. Yeah, I wonder if we could get away with the ball joint in this low position. Wonder if it's too low or not. Because if we can, then we can mount the strut lower as well. You know, that's what I'm aiming for. So 1.5 studs. Okay. Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. So we can get away with this. Perfect. Um, okay. So the first step we have here is how to fix this in this position. See, we want this to be here. Obviously, this is gonna be here. Let's see what we get. Okay. You can see how unstable this is and why I want pins here instead of axles. Um, so clumsy today. Okay. Now we have something that's a little more solid. Now we can finally start thinking about how we're gonna fix this into position. Obviously, we're gonna use something on this side and something on this side. This is high enough that it's not gonna interfere with the wishbone. So we can basically have this guy here. and it's gonna be something jammed in here. I don't know what yet. Maybe this, or maybe something else. Because yeah, this is too much of an angle, so we need less of an angle. But at the same time, we don't want this to be straight. Absolutely not, because then we have zero kingpin. You see, so this must not be straight no matter what. It needs to be something like this. First, to clear the wheel, because if it's like this, the spring is rubbing on the wheel. And secondly, of course, we want the kingpin, so at least one stud offset, that's gonna be something. So we need something bigger here. Okay. That is too big. Okay. How do we do this? Well, for a brief moment, I have considered moving this guy one stud further inside, but of course the wheels are not big enough. This ball joint cannot be inside of the wheel, sadly. Sad face. Just a second. Just a second. If we do this, okay. Okay, I have an idea. I just need to think about how I'm going to pull it off. If I can pull it off. I think I can. Mm. So intricate. Okay. Okay, let's. Sorry, I was thinking. I was going through a few of, scenarios, but I think I might have something that's gonna work. Um, Maybe. It's a big maybe, but if it works, it's gonna be pretty okay. Um, no, it's not a new project. It's just the today's mission. We are building a front suspension for a friend. We are building the front suspension of an E46 for Christian. Okay. So let's try this. I have a feeling that there's gonna be something that's gonna prevent me from doing this, but let's go ahead anyway. Mhm. See, that's the beauty of LP Power wheel hubs. You cannot pull this shit off with Lego wheel hubs. I'm not sure about this, but let's see where it takes us. Okay, so this will allow for some deflection. Okay, this guy here needs to be an axle. Maybe this is gonna work. We are building the first the wheel hub and the strut for the E46 for Christian. There. Yeah. Okay, I knew there was something, but that's not a problem because we're gonna go up here. Yeah. Okay. That's not gonna be a problem. You don't want to use modded parts. Okay. That complicates things a lot. So now we still gonna use this hub, but we cannot pull this off. So now we must assume that, as in Lego wheel hubs, the half stud here on the side of the axle, let's call it like this, is off limits. Okay, it complicates stuff a little bit. Still possible, but not as clean as before. We're not gonna build the car. We're just building the front suspension, nothing else. Christian has the car figured out already, and it's a coupe or coupe or whatever you want to call it. Yeah, I know that hump is my nemesis. Ever since those hubs came out. But we'll figure something out. We'll figure something out. Okay, so it's a four stud connection, and that's probably gonna work. We're gonna make this work. We just have to figure out how to connect this properly to this. Yeah. A moped, okay. Oh. So. Let's think about this first. Yeah, that's a problem. That's not gonna go. We don't have the room for this. Or do we? Let's see. Do we actually have the room for this? No. Obviously. Okay. So, but we do have room for this. That's the room that we have. I really don't want to use an axle here. I really don't want to use an axle. But I will have to. There's no other way. Shit. We'll see. Let's use an axle first, and then we can think about other solutions. Yeah. Oh, here they are. Okay. So now we have to fix this into position. I mean, the Kingpin is not the greatest, I must admit. I was hoping it would be bigger. And of course we have to prevent this from happening. So basically the Kingpin axis as we would have it here would be like this. Not the greatest. But it still would make the pivot would be, yeah, just on the edge here. I'm using the disc hubs because these are the only hubs that I have that are not built into a car. ignore them. The wheel hub, the disk hubs are just some hubs that are I have around. We are intentionally not using the advantages of the LP power hubs because Christian doesn't want to use LP power hubs. So we're ignoring the advantages, you know. Uh, does matter. So I want a bigger Kingpin. Absolutely. The pivot point needs to be inside of the wheel. So we need to change this a little bit. This is not okay. So we need to angle this a little bit more than just this. It needs to be probably like this. And if you guessed it's half a stud, it probably is. Probably is. It's not big enough. No. Yeah, we can use this. We can use this. And then we have the perfect opportunity to use this hole here to put something inside to prevent this from going like this. I think. Mm. I somehow think that this edge here is gonna present a problem. Let's see. Marco, right now we are building a wheel hub for Christian. Okay, that's bigger. Hmm? Now let's complicate this a little further. Yeah, for the E46. Turn. Okay, so this is just a contraption. I'm not proud of it. It kind of works. It's a lot of material, but let's see if, yeah, as I thought. We don't have clearance. Typical, obviously. These edges are the problem. But it's not really a problem. We can work around. It's gonna be even better. Gonna be even better. Because here we're gonna use, come on. There. And we're gonna use these here. Okay. That's more like it. This is pretty sturdy. Oh, nice. Nice. Pretty sturdy. So now our Kingpin axis is a bit extreme. Jesus. Yeah. It's a bit extreme. But it checks out. Checks out. It's somewhere around here is now the pivot point on the ground, which is okay. Which is pretty okay. One thing that we need to do, of course, this thing here needs to be on the outside. Of course, and for this, I need to dismantle half of this. Okay, not as bad as I thought. Now let's see what does this mean for the upper pivot of the person. Whoopsie daisy, we have problems. So the angle here is a bit extreme, and if we want the pivot to be somewhere here, the wheel is too far out, it needs to be further in. So we have a few choices here. One is we redesign this hub again. Second, we redesign this. And I know Christian will say, no, I think this is okay. This hub is pretty good. And we do need to redesign this. As much as I don't like to redesign stuff like this, this shit needs to get out of the way, to be honest. We can have this guy here on top, of course, but it needs to be one stud further in. Now, I don't know what Christian plans to put in here, but we'll try to minimize the impact of all of this. So this here is not okay. So we are gonna use this guy here, another guy here. So because we just need room for the strut. Keep in mind, we just need room for this top part here. So we have to split this into two somehow. I don't know where this needs to be. Approximately here. Yeah. So the second one is gonna be further to the front, and yeah, there's really no other way to do this. And this here, the frame rail, can be moved to the outside, I think. And if not, it can stay here and we'll make it work. So I don't know exactly where this is gonna be. I'm just positioning stuff by feel. Yeah, so this strut tower can be mount can be a lot lower than this because we have to consider this. So right now the spring is at full extension, and I see that we have just about the clearance that Christian needs or wants. So we need to go even further down with this, so when everything is springy or ish. I think the caster is a little bit much. Yeah. Then it's gonna, at full drop, we don't want the car to touch the ground. So that's probably, yeah. We can basically lower the strut mount by 1 stud. Probably a consequence of us lowering the point here, which I think it's okay. So, having done this, we have to reconsider how this is done. Because the strut mount, the way we're gonna mount it, it's gonna be in this plane. So it's gonna be here. Even this is, yeah, even this is conservative. Mm. Yeah, even with this, we are way out of bounds. So, what we do need to do is, sadly, we need to redesign this. The spring needs to be more vertical. So we have to reduce the kingpin, sadly. What do you mean front limit for fender should be a stud back? You mean the wheel is not gonna be flush with the fender, but would be even further inside. Is that right? Because in this case, um, what we would do in this case is basically we would ditch the E46 suspension setup, and we would go one generation further ahead and have a multi-link E91 setup. That with that setup, of course, we would move this guy further in. Actual seal. Um, yeah. So what do the red lift arms mean? The red lift arms are what? So I assume that this here is the outer edge of the fender. So here the fender flare goes over. Let's see what Christian posted. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I understand. Yeah, but you know, that positioning doesn't really matter that much. Yeah, 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 yeah. The center of the wheel is gonna be important there, but um, right now it's not the center of the wheel that's the issue here. It's basically where the wheel is positioned uh, in this regard. So from the center line of the car. Uh, so basically, we have this situation here. This is the room. This is the room that we have for the wheel here inside of the fender. So let's uh, let's go back to Christian's version, because obviously things have changed differently. Okay. Um, so let's focus on the wheel hub again. Well, in this case, I would actually go with a multi-link setup here, because like in a multi-link setup, like in the E90 models, because we definitely want the pivot here to be further out, definitely. But since we don't want uh, the strut here to be angled too much from the wheel, we are gonna get a very poor kingpin. And this will not allow us to have the pivot point inside of the wheel. And we absolutely want the pivot point to be inside of the wheel, otherwise the wheel is gonna be moving inside of the fender way too much and eating valuable space, which we absolutely do not want. Question is, how do we achieve that? Because the main issue is here is not this angle. The problem is we want to prevent it from moving back. Something's gonna have to be jammed in here. You know, like, I don't know, something like this, but in a manner that's making sense. Yeah, for example, I mean, you know, it's bending, which is not ideal. Here it's not bending. So that would be okay, but we need to make sure it doesn't move. Where would we fix it? Yeah, I guess here. No, here. I mean, this hole here would be ideal, but I have no way of mounting this into this hole. That's a bummer. Hmm. Yeah, this is. And I have an issue because this is moving. Um, that's why I want it to be, well, held into position by something. And it was held into position, you know, like this would be fine, but again, we cannot mount it here. Nothing. I mean, there is a solution, absolutely. I just don't see it. Yeah. I mean, if anybody has some suggestions, please do share. I mean, it doesn't have to be this solution, particular solution. We just need to prevent this from doing this. So we have the angle here. We just need it to prevent to go back in. Hey Ken, welcome to stream. Onyx 3 thin where? Where would I use a 1 times 3 thin lift arm? Come on, focus camera. Thank you. So basically, see, we don't really have much room here. We just want to prevent this from happening. Which one? This one or this one? Hey Topi, thank you. I don't know. Are we already 1 year or is I don't know where when we started streaming. Um, haven't checked the date. I know it's July, but don't know which one. Um, okay. Please do. With what? With what? What would you replace this with? How would you replace? I mean, if I replace this with a 1 times 3, how would I replace it? I could use an Excel, yeah, but guess what happens when you do that? It adds a lot of friction. So every time this wants to go in, there's gonna be a lot of friction here, and that's not gonna happen. We don't want the friction. But I'm looking at something that Christian sent me from his previous attempt, and we are gonna change this because we actually don't need this. We can solve this a little more elegantly uh, without the use of this. Mm, I think you know where this is going. Okay. So multi-link bottom, obviously, because we want to move the pivot out. This is going to be angled much less than before. Just we need to find a way to block this with, something like this. And here I think we have now the opportunity to somehow mount it properly. Somehow. Yeah, that would be fine, but no. However, we can actually do this. We can. So this is pretty much determined. Something like this. This is a little bit close. Probably would be fine if it was a little bit further out, which it totally can be. Okay. Um, so like this. Well, it needs to and can be are two very different terms. So what I would do here is obviously this and this and this. This would obviously be the setup that we would go for. You know, these two being a little bit further back, this to the front, and that's probably how I would do it. Let's see what this means. So as we said, we need this to be one stud lower. Oh yeah. Now this is perfect. Faster. Yeah. What? No. Yeah, we could do the rack behind axle, but no. We want it in front. That looks weird. Let's see. So okay, that's fine. Yeah, we do get some camber gain, which is nice. Yeah, these need to be once that they need to be level with the chassis. But this is not okay. This is not okay. I mean, we need to separate them a bit further because the pivot point is still too far outside of the wheel. So what I would do here is I'm gonna change this guy. Keep in mind we're just experimenting now. Okay, this is better. Still not okay. I mean, in the front, that's not a problem because this lift arm here can be replaced by this. Okay, and then we have, we have enough room in the fender for this. But here in the rear, we have a problem. Oh yeah, the wheel needs to go further front. It's not in the center. Yeah. Okay, let's do this. Needs to come to the front, but at the same time, yeah, this guy needs to go one step further back, and this guy, we'll see. Okay, let's see. So right now the steering is not important. No, it's to be here. It's in the center. What does this mean here? Okay. No, the wheel still can go a little bit further to the front. It's still too far back. Still too far back. Yeah, and we can move this part here to the front. The angle is too extreme. No. No. So one is too far back. And we are, with our wheel, we are also too much. Okay. Okay. Um, okay. Let's do it. Let's do it like this. I don't want to. Yeah, I mean the caster probably needs to adjusting. Yeah, absolutely. But I also want, you see, this to be as straight as possible. Yeah, this is okay. Caster is actually, I mean, it's okay. Still needs to go a little bit to the front. Yeah, I'm just gonna put this here for now, just so it stabilizes everything. Um, that's perfect. Bingo. I mean, those are angles that we are that are never gonna happen in real life. I mean, in practical use. This is a lot. Yet it's yeah. This is a disaster. Holy shit. And I think, yeah, it needs to go a little bit further to the front. And this guy here needs to be further outside, so it needs to be at a flatter angle. Yeah, like this. is this moving so much? No, that's not okay. It was better before. Mm. Yeah, that's... In terms of geometry, I think that's okay. Yeah. That's okay in terms of geometry. But we need to find out what the fuck is happening here. What the? And it's not even this. It's not the fact that this is a little bit wonky. It's wonky in the Sierra as well, but this doesn't happen. So what we do need to do here, I guess, would be, yeah, we need to move this guy here to the back, and then we have to readjust this. This is gonna make the difference. It's gonna, yeah. But keep in mind that we don't have, the way we adjust this, the steering link will be the same angle as this. So we cannot go too extreme. Yeah, but as we have it here, like this, the wobble is exaggerated. So if I move this here, this wobble is a lot smaller because we now have a bigger triangle. It's kind of supported from both sides. Uh, so yeah, this is a lot better than this. It can wobble a lot more here and here. And of course, the fact that this and this are mounted just uh, temporarily, or you know, it doesn't help. Yeah, you can see that these two are not. Yeah, now it's a lot less. Still wobbling, but less. Um, yeah, I guess you could do something here. I don't know. I don't know how, to be honest. If we mounted the thing is that you see both ball joints here on the chassis side are in the same plane as the bottom of the chassis, and that's how it should be. They cannot be any lower. So we could mount this one lower, or we could mount this one lower here, but we can't. There's no room. That's the problem. Yeah, we do have the problem still here, but right now, as it is now, the wheel is not flush with the fenders. It's actually a little bit in. Yeah, not much. It's acceptable. Yeah, it's just a little bit. Yeah, but this is gonna rub here. That's gonna be a problem unless Christian redesigns this a little bit. But yeah, this is a problem. Yeah, it's just gonna get worse. And let's try the first solution first again. Because here the angles are less extreme. But of course, the effect is less. The effect of the double pivot is less. That's significantly better. Significantly. Or not. Yeah, bionicle joints would solve a lot here. But there's no room for them. There is absolutely no room for them. And in this setup, yeah, that's okay. But yeah, I'm totally not okay with that. And we're bumping here against stuff. What's with the top part? The slack is not here. The slack is not here. That's not the problem. The Sierra has the same setup, and we don't have the problem here in the Sierra. That's not a problem in the Sierra at all. So the thing here is, of course, the ball joints. There's slack in the ball joints. See, this is the slack that we are experiencing. It doesn't affect the spring. Yes, the spring. This affects the spring. But we're talking about this. And I guess, yeah, it just compounds. The design of our wheel hub just compounds everything because, of course, because we have axles here on both sides, this happens as well. So there's just so much slack that it just compounds, and we get more slack. So it's the slack in the ball joints, it's the slack in the spring, it's the slack in the axles between the hub, and you add everything up, you get this. I mean, I'm not gonna give up on this, but I have to think about what to do here. If we would do, okay, let's do one more thing. Let's do what the natural thing would be. So let's have a single pivot here and see what happens. You know, just to see what effect everything has. Where does it need to be? Approximately here. Okay. mean, this is now the conventional way, and of course we see that with this design of the fenders here, that's not gonna happen. Here in the front, it's okay. In the rear, we need more room. The Sierra has pretty much the same thing, just the Kingpin is a little bit bigger. I mean, this would need to be redesigned, and the slack here is less. But still, you can see how much this is not moving at all. You can see how much movement there is in the wheel hub itself. And it's this, and it's, yeah, the hub itself moving inside. So basically, see, if I hold everything still, because we didn't use pins, the hub itself moves a lot. And of course there's this movement, and this is I would say this is because we have here a phenomenon that it's not present in the Sierra. See, the spring here is, its mounting point is below the axle. In the Sierra, the mounting point of the spring is in the same level as the axis. So the axis, so the central axis here, of course, here has a lever here on our spring, and the Sierra it doesn't. And that's also a factor why this is happening. But this is not such a big issue, because see, everything here, everything else is moving a lot. But yeah, I think it's a combination of everything. Yeah, see, everything here can move, and then you get, even if I, if I hold the spring perfectly still, so it's not basically the spring itself bending or whatever, it's so much slack in this thing, because we have axles and pinholes. If we didn't have axles and pinholes, we would not have this slack. Yeah, so much slack. And there's no slack in the hub itself. Hub itself doesn't have any slack, but it's this connection, and then of course this. I don't know. I have to think about it. We are definitely gonna solve this mystery. I guess first thing that we're gonna do is we're gonna raise the mounting point of the spring by 1 stud, just as in the Sierra. Second, we need to introduce at least one pin connection into the hub in order for us to eliminate this slack. Okay. Well, since the clan wars in World of Warships are over, we are gonna return to our regular schedule, and the stream is gonna be on Wednesday. Yeah, so we're gonna raise this, the mounting point of this by 1 stud, This will probably make mounting this easier. And we are gonna be able to have a pin connection here, which is gonna make things even easier. Yeah. Something like that. Something like that's gonna happen. But ultimately, I think we're gonna end up with something like the Sierra. I think the Sierra hub is pretty much the optimum for the scale. Except the angle, of course. The angle, I think, in the Sierra is, or not, it's even the same, I think. Yeah. We'll see. But I think that ultimately, the Christian is gonna have to make some room for the wheel here. So in the front, there's plenty of room for the wheel. Only here, we need to make room for the wheel. Basically, this guy needs to be one stud for the back. This has to be changed to something else so that these two don't stick into the wheel well. And then this here, the connection here needs to be a little bit different so that we don't have this, just this. So the three studs here can be allowed. And then the wheel has enough room to pivot, I think. But you know, we are gonna try to solve this next time. Next stream is on Wednesday. So we are returning to our regular schedule, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and next stream is on Wednesday. Until then, thanks for watching. Don't forget I have a Patreon, because you know Lego is not cheap. And I see you on Wednesday.